everyone. So today we're going to be talking about our mini unit, erosion and depositional features. So to understand this unit, first we should talk about what erosion and deposition is, and also what weathering is. So weathering is the breaking down of rocks. Things that break down rocks are some examples are water, wind, ice, animals, growing plants. Erosion is the movement of those rocks or sediments after they broke down. So, things that move sediments around or erode sediments are some examples are water, wind, ice, gravity. And finally, deposition is the dropping or depositing of those broken sediments or broken pieces of rock after it has been weathered and eroded away to a new place. So, deposition is the dropping of sediment in a new place. Examples of deposition are the formation of island sand dunes. So, sand dunes are places where sand has been deposited or dropped off after they have been weathered or broken down and eroded, moved away somewhere else. Okay, so the main erosional and depositional features we'll be talking about are streams, wave action, and glaciers. So we're mostly focusing on water erosion and deposition, as well as ice erosion and deposition when it comes to glacier in this unit. Let's start with streams. Make sure also that you have your note packet out. This is the second page on your note packet. Okay, so let's talk about what a delta is. A delta forms when sediment builds up at the mouth of a river because the water slows as it enters a larger body of water. So normally rivers end up in the ocean. Then when rivers end up in the ocean, a lot of rivers tend to carry sediments or small broken pieces of rock. They're eroding or carrying those sediments, right? But when the river enters the ocean, it starts to slow down, and because it slows down, it can't really carry those large sediments or particles anymore, so it starts to deposit them. So this is where deposition comes in. So when the river starts depositing the sediments at the mouth of the ocean, right? Yeah, the where the ocean starts, you start to see a triangular formation called a delta. So please memorize this delta. And a delta kind of looks like a fan of sediments. Here's another image of a river delta. So this river ended up in the ocean and it's depositing all these sediments, forming like a fan shape called a delta. So make sure you write that down in your notes. Streams form deltas when they enter the ocean, and deltas normally look something like this. Okay, so let's start with question number 1. Pause this video and try question number 1 on your worksheet. Identify the triangular shaped depositional feature indicated by letter C. The correct answer for number 1 is delta. So a delta normally happens when a river enters the ocean. So go ahead and make sure you have that answer. Okay, so now let's talk about how rivers and glaciers shape the land when they erode the land, right? We just talked about deposition by rivers in the ocean. Now, what happens when the river actually moves or erodes the sediments away? Normally, when rivers erode sediments or they move and carry away broken rock pieces, they start to create a valley that is V shaped, as you can see here. Um, the reason is as the river flows, it starts to cut down the side and weather and erode the sediments as it moves, and that causes this V shape to form. So, if you ever see a V shaped valley like this, a river must have formed it. Now, what about glaciers? Glaciers are giant chunks of ice, or normally, if you know what an avalanche is, glaciers, when they start to move really fast downhill, they start to create avalanches. So, glaciers are large chunks of ice, giant chunks of ice. They can actually cover a continent. And when they move, and they move very slowly, they start to create a U shaped valley. So, remember, V shaped valleys are created by rivers. So, this valley is created by a river, and if a glacier passes through this valley, kind of like this image right here, it will start to create a U shaped valley just like this. Okay? So remember, glaciers form U shaped valleys and rivers form V shaped valleys. Go ahead and write this down in your notes. Streams or rivers form V shaped valleys, glaciers form U shaped valleys. So go ahead and try number 2. Pause this video. What is the shape of a valley created by a glacier? The correct answer is U-shaped valley. Remember, glaciers U-shaped valley, rivers V-shaped valley. So to summarize what we learned so far, the types of erosional and deposition features we're focusing on are streams, wave action, and glaciers. And this is what a delta looks like. This happens when a river enters an ocean. Streams create V-shaped valleys and glaciers create U-shaped valleys. That's it for now.